Welcome to the Penny for Your Thoughts podcast. I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And I am John Cena.
You're not Sierra.
No, clearly not.
Oh, okay. I'm Emma, but you're not. What did you do with Sierra?
Hello everyone, my name is Hunter.
Also, Sierra didn't go on this trip we're about to talk about, so that's why Sierra's not here.
That too.
That's the main reason. But in true WWE fashion, Sierra's on hiatus. Sierra was a tombstone pile drived into the mat and is probably going to make a reappearance in the next week or so. True WWE fashion. Anyways, we're not going to stick to normal Penny for Your Thoughts podcast format. We don't have a cuss count. Oops. We can take guesses. What do you want to guess the last one was with Sierra and I?
I want to guess it was at least like 27.
Okay, I think it was more like 15, maybe 10. Unfortunately, we don't really have that. We kind of fell off. We'll pick back up in January with cuss count. And we're not going to do a quiz because I was lazy and didn't want to find one. And we don't have an agenda. We're just going to yap for an hour. See what happens. Got the great idea in the beginning of, 2024, to go to Disneyland for our collective birthdays. Because we are 5 years and 3 weeks apart. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So we got this awesome idea to be like, hey, let's go to Disneyland for our collective birthdays. So we planned. Awesome planning. Found out my grandparents were also going at the same time we were. For a completely different reason, but it worked out. Then we planned with them. And then, yeah, let's talk it through. So we left on a Monday. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your feelings on that Monday.
That Monday was just hectic with all the travel and everything that had to happen in timing, because navigating the airport is always so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
As, you know, I'm sure some of our listeners will know.
I probably should have said this in the beginning. I'm sick, so if I sound gross, that's why. Anyways.
My father and I have navigated the airport many times before. We didn't have too many difficulties. However, for others that haven't...
Dad, I'm calling you out heavy. My dad has never dropped someone off at the airport before. That was fun because he was asking me all these questions that I didn't know because I've only ever been dropped off at the airport. I have never dropped someone off at the airport. But I did get there like 5-10 minutes before you did. So I got there and I waited around for Hunter because I had stuff to put into his bags because I like to overpack so I didn't have room in my bag.
Yes.
Because I refused to bring more than a carry-on.
Yes, and to their credit, they did make it before I did because scheduling is...
We got to the airport. We waited around for, like, what? A couple hours? An hour?
An hour at least, maybe hour 30.
Our flight had 30 people on it.
It was very nice.
It was really, really nice. We did choose the worst seats in the house, and I refused to sit there again. As much as the legroom was nice, I hated not having my bag, and I hated the man behind me.
I also hated the fact that I got stressed out because I couldn't put my bag underneath.
Because the man moved his crap over and took up the whole row behind us.
Which was, in fact, you know...
It was one man who did it. It's very annoying.
Screw that guy.
Literally. And he kept watching something from behind me that kept flashing, and it kept freaking my eyes out. My eyes were not having a good time on that flight. But we landed. It took off way earlier than schedule, and it landed way earlier. We landed like 30 minutes earlier than we intended on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we got into the creepy white kidnapper van, which is not an understatement. I had asked my tata, hey, what shuttle should I use to get to this hotel? And he said, I got you. And he sent it to me, and I said, okay, who am I looking for? And he told me, I'm not going to call the guy out, but he was a very nice man. But he told me, he said, hey, you're looking for this guy. He speaks very broken English, and he drives a literal white kidnapper's van. There is no branding on that van. And I said, hey, Hunter, ready to get into a kidnapper's van with me? And we got in it. He was a very nice man. He had a lot of knowledge. It was really awesome. He was showing us how to walk to Disneyland from our hotel, which is really nice. And then we got to the hotel. We got to the hotel, said hi.
Yeah, and
went to bed.
Unpacked a little bit of our stuff just to make sure that we had stuff ready to go and took inventory and then went to bed.
I like that you talk like a D&D character. I took inventory of all my stuff.
Listen.
But yeah, we went to bed. Hunter had a great time sleeping in that room. It was so freezing cold.
It really wasn't.
That was the joke. It was so freezing cold in there.
Yes, I was an ice cube the entire time.
You didn't have to get up to turn the air on at all.
I definitely didn't also have to just literally sleep without my shirt on at certain occasions because I was just dying.
I was great. I felt awesome. I had 2 blankets on me at one point. I was snuggled on up. I slept like a rock.
You could sleep through anything.
I can. It's my superpower. I can sleep through basically anything. The only thing I cannot sleep through is like a phone ringing. That's the only thing I think I have a hard time sleeping through. It'll wake me up, but it'll wake me up at like the end of the phone call or the phone ringing. But it still wakes me up. Anyways, Tuesday morning, we woke up bright and early. Well, I woke up bright and early. I don't know when you woke up. I woke you up at like 6.
I was going to say, you woke me up like half an hour after everyone else.
Yeah, so my grandparents woke up first at like 5 in the morning. And then I woke up at 6 because they woke me up on accident. I got a phone flashed. I didn't tell you this. I got a phone flash right in my eyes. My nana was trying to look for a sock. She went and it hit me right in the eyes. I woke up and I got ready. And we wore awesome, cute matching t-shirts.
It's very cute.
We wore Spider-Man matching t-shirts because we went to
Disneyland California Adventure.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
It was cool.
It was very cool.
It was a lot smaller than I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
They've added so much stuff.
I know, and that's the weird part. It's like when I remember as a kid, like going to Disney California Adventure, like, I don't know, spend all day there, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like, you know, whereas there, it was like, it felt like we looped.
Well, our families are very different. My family is an open to close, or as close to close as we can get because some people were not letting me stay till close. We're an open to close family, so we get there not as soon as the park opens, but as soon as possible to the park opening. And then we're there until park close, unless some people get cranky and make us leave.
Spoiler alert, I almost died, and it was me.
Yeah, it was me on the last day, but then I wanted to stay, and you told me no. So I was fine after we sat down for a little bit.
You were literally crying with how bad your feet
I was
hurt.
fine after we sat down for a little bit. Anyways, point being, I'm an open and close family. You were telling me your family doesn't get there till 11, 12 o'clock?
Yep. Because we would leave from where they lived, drove up there, stayed in the RV, hung out for majority of the day, and then would leave by like 7, 8.
That's so crazy. See, that's why it feels like smaller, because you did all of that in a shorter time span, whereas we literally had all day. So we took advantage of having all day, and we went on every single ride multiple times. I found my new favorite snack that everyone was destined to, or was trying to get me every other day of the trip, which was a pineapple with chamoy and tahini. It was delicious. Oh, it was so good. I dream about that pineapple. From Cars Land, from Sarge's something.
Yeah,
right? It was
Sarge's Surplus.
Yeah.
And you also had that toddler grip. You would not let that thing go.
Oh, I did. I was being talked to by everyone. I was not responsive. It was delicious. I love tahini and chamoy, especially on a good piece of tropical fruit. You got to see Avengers Campus for the first time.
That was cool.
Which was really fun for you. We ate at Pim's Test Kitchen, which my grandparents called it. They were like, oh, we know where you're going to want to eat. And I said, no, you don't. And they went, that one place in Avengers. And I went, hey, how'd you know? That's perfect. But I had the Impossible Mouthful, which is really yummy. You had a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's a grilled cheese.
Yeah. Which was normal size, and that's why I was kind of like...
Yeah, you're the only one who didn't get... The Impossible Mouthful is literally an impossible meatball that is the size of, like, your fist.
Yeah.
In a bowl of pasta with a tiny fork.
Which is hilarious to me.
It was, yeah. And then my nana got the big old taco salad, and she didn't believe me when I said it was huge.
Honestly, I should have gotten that taco salad. It looked
You
good.
probably could have put that down.
Easily.
But she didn't believe me when I was like, no, it's huge. Like, it is so big. I don't remember what my tata got, but he got the chicken sandwich, and he didn't believe me either. I was like, no, it's huge. You don't understand. The whole point of Pimp's Test Kitchen, for those who don't know, is it's supposed to make small food big and big food small. That's like the joke. Because if you know Avengers, it's Ant-Man, right? You are a resident Marvel nerd. Yeah, that happened. You guys read Guardians? Excuse me. What was your thoughts of Guardians?
Guardians scared the piss out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Is it a drop?
That's like Tower of Terror.
Yeah, except Tower of Terror, it's like just the one drop and then you just go.
I'm pretty sure there's like 2 or 3 because they do it and then I think it catches you. Because Tower of Terror also had the opening things like that. Because I remember you would stop on different floors. Because you would see different ghosts and stuff.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like you saw different ghosts that were popping up and then it would move you and then drop you again. But Guardians of the Galaxy I feel like is different because it's moving you to music. So it's like, because he plugs in the thingy and then they throw you up and down with the music. So I think that might be why it feels different.
Maybe.
Because there's the music and it holds you higher or holds you longer at the top for the picture. Tower of Terror, it would throw you up because you still would see it open. The things would open and then it would drop you immediately. That one holds you and bounces you the whole time and then drops you.
That might have been why. But for reference as well, I hadn't been in like 15 years prior. Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
For you, it was like brand new.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, we did that. We went to the Animation Academy, which is my favorite place, and we hung out for a little bit. And then we did a drawing class, and we got to draw Goofy, which is super fun. You loved it, didn't you? Hunter does not like to draw, but he sucked it up and did this class for me because I really wanted to do it.
It's not even that I don't like to draw, it's simply the fact that everything I do just looks incredibly off-proportioned. And it just looks, in this case, literally and figuratively, goofy. Hence why I'm just like, God bless it. Like, that looks terrible.
I thought yours looked very cute. I think we all did really good. I gave mine heart eyes, so it was cool. I wish we did more of those, because I think that would have been fun to have a couple of them.
And honestly, that's something that if we ever have the opportunity to live close by and we're season pass holders...
Getting a sketchbook?
Just getting a sketchbook and just starting to do that in practice.
The people in front of us had it. There's some people in front of us. It was like a mom, dad, maybe daughter about 14, and a younger girl. Mm-hmm. The younger girl didn't have a sketchbook, but the other 3 had sketchbooks, which is super cool.
I would say as much as I don't like drawing, the experience itself was super cool, and that was probably my favorite part.
We got to sit for 10 minutes, plus 15 minutes in line.
Which honestly, that part was like cool, but at the same time, it's like more than anything, being able to do that with someone that knows how to draw like that, it was
really awesome.
It was really cool.
And she was showing, the lady who was doing the class was showing like original sketches of Goofy and like where he came from because he wasn't an original member of the Fab Five. I think it's funny that Disney calls their 5 the Fab Five, but also the Fab Five is the name of 5 really popular gay guys from Queer Eye. They're also called the Fab Five. I think that's really, really funny. It was like interesting to hear her talk about that. She pulled up some original sketches of Goofy from the original cartoon he was in. I'm gonna have to bleep this, but we kept saying the Mickey Mouse meme where it's like, what is it? You said she's extremely silly, and we both kept going, no, I said she's fucking goofy.
Cut that.
I'm just going to cut that one word, but I thought it was so funny because we kept whispering it to each other as to not let my grandparents hear, but we kept whispering it to each other, which is really funny. We read Monsters, Inc. like twice, which the first time it took forever. The second time it wasn't as bad.
No, and I feel like, I would have enjoyed my time a lot more. Unfortunately, my left knee's been pretty screwed up, and being 6'6" does not help being in those tiny little rides because my legs have nowhere to go.
But we made it work. Next year when we go, hopefully by then you'll be in more PT for your knee and it can be a little easier on you.
I hope to just basically get my knee drained and just get a cortisol shot. That's my biggest thing, and then just do PT, strengthen it.
So, but that's those are some big things, I know, struggles, but other than that, I think you had a good time, and we tried to ride rides that would allow your knees a little bit more room.
Yes.
We rode Goofy's Sky School, which everyone hated. Everyone dogged on me for going on it. But when I said, does anyone want to go on Goofy's Sky School? Everyone, all 3 of you were like, yeah, let's go.
Because we didn't know.
Nah, 2 people in that group knew. Tata knew.
That's not on Tata's fault then for saying that, because that was brutal. I was getting beat up.
The original plan was not to spend all day with them, but I think we spent every single day all day with them, and it was really fun. I don't think I've had that, like, one-on-one time with them. Obviously, you were there. But I don't think I had that one-on-one time with them in a while, so it was nice to, like, do that. And I'm sure they enjoyed it too because they got to get to know you. Not that they don't know you, but they got to get to know you in a different sense and better, and got to see us be us, which I think was nice for them. But we're still on Tuesday. Anything else happen on Tuesday?
We went to Luigi's.
We did. We rode Luigi's, which was fun. I got a stomachache in line. You also got a stomachache in line. We were dueling stomach aches over there. And then we did all the cars rides. We did Mater's 2 or 3 times. That was my favorite ride. We rode. Yep. We rode. A lot of the lines weren't crazy long.
Which I was surprised, even on a Tuesday, wasn't bad.
It wasn't horrible.
It was like, yeah, there were a couple lines that were longer, but nothing compared to what I've dealt with in the past. Like, in years past, what I remember is I used to wait like an hour and a half for Space Mountain, or, used to wait an hour and a half for, Tower of Terror.
But this time, a lot of the lines would get up to that, but then when we were actually in line, it didn't take nearly as long. Like Guardians, it said it was a 65-minute wait. We got through it within 45 minutes.
Easily.
Like, there were some other rides, like Indiana Jones was like 70 minutes. We got through it in 35. And it wasn't just because we were like a party of 2, because those ones we were parties of 2 on, but it was like, I don't know, it's just they moved a lot quicker than I think they put it like on there for. We got dinner, which I don't remember where we got dinner at, but we got dinner. Do you remember?
Don't remember.
Me neither.
Oh, was it at a little Koreatown?
Oh, San Francisco.
That's the one.
We did. We got dinner at San Francisco because I really wanted a bread bowl, and that's when my stomach hurt. And we had dueling stomach aches in line because we both got cheese.
I also devoured that bread bowl.
It was really yummy. It was really, really good. And then is get a cookie from Jack Cookie Num Nums, which I feel really weird saying every single time, but I'm going to say the whole name because that's the name of the shop. It's Jack Cookie Num Nums. I rode Jesse's Critter Carousel, and I made you watch me. Keep in mind, that's the literal children's ride, and they were literal parents and kids, and I was just by myself. I said, no, I'm riding this ride. And I made you watch me like a child.
You enjoyed yourself all the same.
My whole family knows that is one of my favorite rides of all time. Just because it's so simple and I like the songs. I will take, anytime any of the kids want to go, when we go as a family, I'm always like, yeah, come on, let's go, I'll go with you. We did that, we got a cookie, and then on Pixar Pier, there were pier games, and I had $5, and that's as much as you could get for one token. So I paid $5, and I got a token, and I got the prize I wanted. I purposefully wanted the small prize, because the big prize looked stupid. So I got a small prize, I got a little moon from La Luna, and then I think that was it.
Yeah, right? I think from there, we're just kind of like, all right, we're done.
You were done.
I was done.
I was ready to stay.
That was a mistake on my part looking back on it, because, my lovely girlfriend had one condition, which was to stay at one of the parks, or one of the days, open to close. I should have picked DCA.
So for those who don't know, DCA closes an hour before Disneyland. So Disneyland closes at midnight, DCA usually closes at 11. But, what is it? We left at like 9:30. And we went back to the hotel, went to bed, woke up the next day, did it all again, but we went to Disneyland instead, which was so super fun. We had Denny's also all 3 days. We had awesome Denny's breakfast every day. Yeah. So we had Denny's, and then we went to Disneyland, which is so fun. And Disneyland was kind of chaotic. We forgot there were parades, and we got stuck behind a lot of parades. Day 1 is when we started pin trading, which was my birthday present to Hunter, was to pin trade. Do you want to explain why?
As a kid, when I used to go, my grandmother originally gifted me a lanyard with some pins on it so that I could go around with my sisters and go pin trading, and obviously the employees were great, and they're like, oh yeah, like, let's see what you got. It was just random stuff, in which, of course, being a kid, didn't really understand it. So when I stopped going, I hung it up and didn't do it for that many years. So when I was telling Em about it, she got it, and we started pin trading again. So it allowed a piece of my grandmother to live on through me in Disneyland, and I think that was impactful as well as heartfelt.
It also I feel like it gives you a reason to keep going with me, because now you have to come back and pin trade with me again.
You know, I guess, yeah.
Whatever. You have to keep going now. We have to keep pin trading and carry on the traditions. But I didn't get you a lanyard. I got you a plastic baggie with some pins in it.
Hey, I'll take it. And then, you know, she was nice enough to make me a pin board.
I did. I made pin boards once I got home, but I didn't make them. I should have made them before the trip. And I knew I was going to do it the whole trip. It wasn't like it was a last minute thing or anything. We were at Star Tours like 9 different times, right?
Yeah.
We were at Star Tours 9 different times.
Well, the thing was, with why we did that was because it was literally a thing of, because we were in Tomorrowland, when we walked by, we were like, okay, if it's under 20 minutes, we'll just go.
The rule was if it was 10 minutes and under, we would hop on. If it was 10 minutes and under, we would hop on. And of course, every time we passed by, we'd be like 10 minutes, and we would look, and it'd be 10 minutes or 5 minutes. There was a couple that were 15, and we were like, there's no way it's 15 minutes. So we would just hop in line.
And sure enough, it was like 5-10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you get a new cutscene in that you hadn't
I
seen
did.
before?
I got a Hoth cutscene. I am currently keeping track of. So on Star Tours, you can get different opening scenes, holograms. You can get different Planet 1, Planet 2, and endings. And I have a list, and I'm trying to get all of them, just as like a fun, like ode to my brother, because one of the times we went, everyone went on Space Mountain. I'm not a huge fan of Space Mountain. He hates Space Mountain. We both love Star Tours, and I was like, let's go on Star Tours, see how many times we can get through Star Tours before our family gets off Space Mountain. So we did it, and then he was like, oh, everyone's different, and so we started keeping track, and so it was a nod to my brother to get to go that many times. But we did get 8 out of those 9 times. We got the same exact one every single time. Right?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely insane. It was basically just the same thing over and over, and I'm like, this is a sick joke.
I know, it was really funny. You did get to be the spy.
Which was
and you
insane.
didn't know, and I don't think either of us clocked it until after the ride, which is funny.
Well, see, and that's the messed up thing is you've always wanted to be the spy.
Oh my gosh, I wanted it since I was a kid.
And you've literally had it, like, either the person in front of you, next to you, or like 2 spaces from you.
Someone within a 1 to 2 seat difference of me was the spy. And every single time we got on, I was like, watch, it's going to be someone over here. And it was like the guy next to me. Or it would be like, watch, it's someone in that row. And it would be the girl, and you can see my leg. I was in every single picture, but it was never me. I thought it was so funny. It's like, it really was a sick joke. Someone was really messing with me on that one. But we rode it several times. We almost bought kitty lightsabers. I
want to buy a real lightsaber.
There was like a little kid build your own lightsaber. We almost did it. We were very, very close.
Speaking of lightsabers, holy crap, the Star Wars land was super freaking cool.
I was going to get there, but yeah, go ahead, talk about it. I've already been there plenty of times, so talk about it. What were your thoughts?
Holy crap. As far as I'm aware, life-size replicant of the Millennium Falcon, which is actually a ride. Mm-hmm. That was super freaking cool.
Yeah, you got to go inside of it.
Yeah, that was incredibly cool.
It was a walk-on, too. That ride is rarely a walk-on, and we walked pretty... Oh, we didn't talk about our shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Our shirts. Mine was a black shirt that said, I am your father on it. And then his said, what? Pew, whoosh, whoosh.
Sound effects.
Something else, pew. Yes. There's a bunch of sound effects, but we were basically black shirts, white text. You did have yellow text, but... The idea was black shirt quote for that day. Star Wars quote.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, it was matching, not matching. Because I didn't want us to match the whole time. Yeah. But yeah, so Millennium Falcon, we walked on, which was awesome. We got to experience it. You were a pilot, which is really rare. You don't usually get pilots. Usually, I think I'm a gunner or an engineer. I usually have to convince someone in my family to give me the pilot spot. But,
so honestly, piloting that thing was way harder than I expected, even just on the one side.
So there's like an up and down and a left-right pilot. And you were up and down, and I was left-right.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah. And you kept clicking on the buttons. I'm not going to lie, I got a little annoyed.
I could see you getting annoyed.
I was so upset with him. And then my grandparents were gunners, so they got to shoot the harpoons and shoot the guns. And then we had 2 random people behind us who were the engineers. So they had to, basically you're supposed to be getting coaxium, which is like an element, and they were the ones who were grabbing the element and pulling it in and stuff, which was fun. I usually like being the engineer. I think that one's fun. But pilot is cool. And then on a different day, but we'll talk about it because we're talking about Star Wars. You got to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Also super cool.
I got told I had poo on my head.
I remember that part.
Yeah, so when you get to, not to jump ahead, but when you get to the Empire part, because that's where you start as an Imperial prisoner. And when we were standing there, I had Winnie the Pooh ears on. And this guy, they're allowed to be a little mean. He looked at me, he goes, "You got poo on your head." And then he told me to go that way. And I walked that way. That way isn't straight. Yeah. You were standing right next to me. You laughed.
Yeah, I just think I blocked it out because I was just so enamored with everything.
But yeah, he told me I got poo on my head.
They had a whole line of statues of stormtroopers, which was super cool.
And it was in front of a screen that's supposed to make it look like you're in space because you're in a transport ship that gets sucked up into the Imperial ship.
Yes.
And Poe Dameron was there. I love Poe Dameron.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. I do.
But yeah, no, the whole experience was super cool. You know, the ride itself after like all the interactive stuff was super cool.
Oh, you want to talk about how you get on to the actual ride?
Oh yeah, so the way that I understood it was the rebels essentially broke us out of prison and effectively got us onto these transports.
So you're in a little room. There's a little screen up top, and you can hear walking back and forth. And General Hux and Kylo Ren are kind of talking, and they're basically trying to get us to give up information about the rebel base because you're a rebel in it. Although I would be on the First Order side, but that's just me. For Kylo Ren, I'd be on the First Order side. There's a cool Force thing they do too, where they give this really it's in your ear music, and the room feels like it's shaking. And then they leave, and the wall looks like it's being torched, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to
plasma cutter.
Yeah, like a plasma wall cutter thingy, and then it opens, and then there's two people who are rushing you out. They're like, "Okay, come on." I will say the first time I went, I was so freaked out because having people literally go, "Come on," and yell at you to go when you don't know what you're doing, a little overwhelming. But they strap you into these transports, and then you're in Imperial transports that are trying to, what is it called? You're in Imperial transports that are trying to get you out and get you on escape pods. And that's basically the whole ride. It takes you across the whole ship. There were life-size AT-ATs, which was so cool, and I wanted such a big reaction from you, but I think you were a little overwhelmed.
I just wanted to get pictures of everything, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't, but I also didn't know what was going to be thrown around, so I didn't want to lose my phone.
I wish we could have gone twice. We were only able to go once just because of timing and trying to make it up there. That ride stayed above 2 hours for the most of the time we went. We got on it when it was 70 minutes, and it was 53 that we waited. It wasn't a bad queue. It's a really long queue, but there were places to sit. And there's 2 pre-shows. 3 technically, if you count right before you get on the ride in the little jail cell. There's technically 3 pre-shows.
Even waiting in line was super cool. You felt like you were thrown into that world, you know.
And I wish we got to spend a little more time there. We did eat at Docking Bay 7, which was a big thing I wanted to do. They had some really awesome... I discovered I like bows this trip. Really love good bow. And I wish we could have stayed around there more during the day, because there's a bunch of characters that walk around. We got to see Chewbacca, and then, in your words, Boba Fett. But it was the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Listen, I didn't have my glasses on, and so within that, from afar, I was like, oh, it's Boba Fett. That's cool. As I got closer, someone, before I could correct myself, was like, no, that's the Mandalorian.
That was Pedro Pascal. That could have been him under that suit.
If it was, you wouldn't have known what to do with yourself.
Nope, I would have freaked out so much. Oh my gosh, I love him. But yeah, point being, that was Star Wars. We rode Winnie the Pooh. That's my favorite ride.
We got stuck on Winnie the Pooh.
We did, which was really scary, but also really funny.
It was not funny because my knee was killing
It was funny because we kept getting really quiet, and for some reason, every time we got quiet, Nana would start giggling, which would make me start to giggle, but we were stuck there for 10 minutes. In the Heffalumps and Woozles section, it just stopped, and they were still moving, and then they stopped moving, and then the lights flicked on, and then the giggle started from Nana and I. We just couldn't help ourselves. And we just kept giggling.
Probably the worst part about that was the Disney employees that just walked by.
Well, they had to get a head count of everyone because they had to get the people who were outside of the ride off first, and then they could come get us. But they had to get a head count. They had to check and see where the different cars were, and then they had to get a step stool. Because I never realized on that ride you're pretty high off the ground. You're like 2 feet off the ground. So they had to get a step stool so we all could get off.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously I wasn't gonna make Nana and Tata jump down.
Could you imagine? For context, my Nana has had 2 knee surgeries, and my Tata's got knee and ankle issues.
Yes.
They probably would have sat and slid or something. Nana would have used like a shoulder and an arm, but yeah, so they had to do that. And then we tried to get on again, and it worked fine. They did lie to you, even though I literally told you guys the right answer, and no one listened to me.
Well, I literally said too, I'm like, hey, can we get the front? And she's like, no, the back has more room.
The back, in fact, did not have more room.
No, it was
and
awful.
I knew the front had more room because the way that the honeycombs work is the front has an indent section. Because I always like sitting in the front because I'm 6'1". So I like to put my knees in there. Or if my feet hurt, I put my feet there and I let my feet rest.
Also, I don't think any of you saw it, but I shot her the dirtiest look because I'm like, you suck.
No, I did not see. I was too busy because we basically got to get off of that cart. And then they loaded other people on, and then we got to get on a whole different cart. So I was like, ooh, we get a little special treatment. I normally don't get special treatment at Disney. And then we also got to ride, I'm kind of combining days 2 and 3 together, because it all blended together for me.
Yeah.
We also got to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which was super fun. They rethemed Splash Mountain to be Tiana's themed.
I got soaked.
Yeah. We had to get a virtual queue. We happened to all get ours at the same time, which was very nice. We were like 1 or 2 groups away from each other. It was me, Hunter, and my Nana. All got to go. Super duper fun. I was surprised she went, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think she was gonna go. She was a good sport. They played music from the movie, which was really nice in line. And then you got to go through Tiana's house, I'm guessing it was the vibe. You're supposed to be going through her house or something, so you got to see a bunch of little newspaper clippings and a bunch of, like, beignets and other accoutrements. And then it transformed from a house to the mountain, and then we got on, which was super fun. We had ponchos on. They did nothing.
I kept my upper half dry. That was it.
No one wanted to take the front, so I was the brave soul who sat in the front. You weren't going to fit in the front, but Nana said she was not sitting in the front, and I said, I will sit in the front for you, ma'am. So I sat in the front, and then Nana, and then you. And then the nice thing about that ride is you could spread your legs out, so you got to kind of spread your legs out, and so did she.
Thank God. That was the one ride I was like, all right, I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, really. And then my feet, I'm so glad I sat in the front, because both of your shoes got soaked. Whereas my shoes were completely fine. Because I got to stick my feet up under. There's basically a little opening in the front, and I stuck my feet up there, completely dry. Socks and shoes, completely dry.
Yep. For me, I literally had my whole lower half, besides my crotch area, completely drenched.
Oh my gosh, his pants. He wore some shorts that were like a light tan color. I kid you not. Whole thing. Back, front, completely wet, except for the crotch. His crotch was completely dry.
And I had to walk around just...
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Also got really soaked. Her whole shirt, her poncho didn't work. I'm pretty sure it was a giant hole. Because her whole shirt was soaked and her jeans. So they went back to the hotel so she could change. I was basically fine. My shirt got a little wet, but my pants only got wet because I was stupid and I put my poncho over my knees, and then I had a little pool of water, and then I sat up, and as I sat up, the water just went whoo and completely drenched my pants. But it was only like the inside of my pants. The outside of my pants were completely fine. For sitting in the front, I think I got the least wet out of the 3 of us.
Which, that's kind of the crazy part is like, because it broke the impact, all the water came up behind you.
Oh yeah. And I will say our boat was pretty heavy because it had 3 full-grown adults plus other adults behind us and a little kid, because originally it was just supposed to be the mom and the kid, but then they were like, oh, Dad, you can go too, because the 3 of them were going to be able to fit. So our boat was pretty heavy because it kept like dipping down really low. But the ride itself was really cute. It was very, very fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't realize how scary that 50-foot drop was until you're staring it down and you're like, oh crap, I gotta go.
Here's the thing, is that it used to be scarier when it was Splash Mountain because there used to be a bunch of like flashing lights and imagery and stuff as you went down.
No, there wasn't.
In the burrow part, like when
I
you're
don't
dropping,
think so.
yeah, there was lights and stuff.
Yeah, that's what this one was, them singing.
Yeah, which is fine. It's singing, not just, flashing lights and,
No.
freaking seizure inducing.
I didn't think there was. I thought the only flashing light is the picture. Because the picture gets taken right there. So that might be the flashing you're thinking of. But I didn't think there was flashing.
Not on Tiana's Bayou, I'm saying from before.
I know, that's what I'm saying from before too. I wrote it but when it was Splash Mountain as well. I just don't remember what you're talking about. But
in any case,
I think the change was needed.
We got stuck for a little bit. It was fine.
Did we get stuck?
Yeah, we had to stop because they had problems offloading people, I guess.
Oh, that was after the thing.
Yeah, that was after the drop when we were down.
Yeah. Well, it's because they had wheelchair. They had to move the ADA one in and out. But yeah, that was why they had to... Sorry, my chicken... I have a metal chicken and he was shaking. He does that sometimes. I don't know why, but he does that sometimes. His name's Tony. I stole him from... I didn't steal. Chris gave him to me from over the summer.
You
but I
acquired.
say I stole him because Chris didn't really have a choice. I told him I was leaving with the chicken whether he wanted me to or not. And Chris said, okay. Chris was my boss over the summer. We love Chris.
We love Chris.
Chris, shout out to you if you're listening. I doubt it, but...
Chris, I know I never met you, but shout out to your dog. He's very
Shout out to Pax. Shouting out Pax. But yeah, so we rode Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That was very, very fun. It was really cute. Much needed change because the original source material is not something we should be promoting. Do you know the original source material for Splash Mountain?
Racism.
Essentially, Song to the South was not a very great thing. Some people will say it's Disney history, and I agree, but I don't think we should be promoting it. Same thing with the retheme of the Jungle Cruise. Like, the Jungle Cruise was based off of something, I think it was called, like, the African Queen or the Tiger Queen or something. It was not a great thing to be promoting, but they changed it to be after that movie with the Rock. Look, it all tied back together. Oh my gosh. Have you seen that movie, The Jungle Cruise? It's a great movie. Strongly recommend The Jungle Cruise to anyone who hasn't seen it, especially if you like the ride. It's basically the ride. Oh, let's talk about the Jungle Cruise. We rode the Jungle Cruise a lot because, again, it was a nice ride to get off your feet for a little bit, and it had a pretty low wait time. I don't think we waited more than, 15-20 minutes for it.
There was only one time that we had to wait.
A little longer.
Because we had to go upstairs and around.
That's usually what they do for 20 minutes. That's why it was 15-20 minutes, something like that. Either way, we got on the ride, and I felt so bad because one of the times we got on it, I kept saying the guys' jokes on accident. Guys, I've been on that ride a lot, and they don't change up their jokes. So I knew them all. And by that point, we'd gone on it 2 or 3 times already. So I knew the jokes.
And unfortunately, I could see the visible frustration on the tour guide's face as we were just chanting, O2H, O2H.
Even though he started that one. He was the only tour guide to start O2H, and then when we started repeating it, he got upset, but we were not the only ones repeating it.
Correct.
But he did shoot me a couple looks, and I was trying to say it quiet, but he kept calling me out, so I feel like it wasn't my fault. He would be like, you see those tall things there? What are they? I whispered to Hunter, I'd be like, trees. And he'd go, yep, trees. And I was like, I'm not trying to shout out. I was trying to whisper to my boyfriend to be funny.
And unfortunately, it's kind of the thing of, when you're at a comedy club and you steal the guy's thunder.
I wasn't trying to. That was the thing, is I was just trying to be silly with you because every time we wrote it, I kept trying to whisper you the jokes and the punchlines ahead of time to be silly and be silly haha. And then that one tour guy got really upset.
Yeah.
But my favorite joke they do is when they're like, I just have 2 final words to say to you. Get out. And then they're like, oh, sorry, that was mean. Let me fix it. Please, get out. That's my favorite part of the Jungle Cruise. I think it's so funny every single time. It makes me giggle. They sang happy birthday to us. They were like, oh, we have a birthday, because there was a little boy. It was his birthday, too. And he was like, oh, we have a birthday. Do we have any other birthdays? I raised my hand. I made Hunter raise his. And it was cute. I don't know if you saw, but the boy's parents were pointing at us, and the boy waved at us. I don't think you saw, but he waved at us. And I waved at him, and he pointed to his badge, so I pointed to mine. It was really sweet. We had a cute little interaction, but they sang a little happy birthday thing, where they literally went, happy birthday. That was it. That's all we got. Because it was a short song. He said they had a short song to sing to us. I got a happy birthday, and that was it.
You know, for all that the Jungle Cruise tour guides are worth, they're honest.
I love it. It's so funny. I love the dry humor, and I think that's why I could be a skipper. 100%. I already know the jokes. Like, my other favorite joke is when they're like, look at how cute that tiger is watching over that zebra who's sleeping. He's sleeping. He's just taking a nap. And they just keep, like, hindering. You know it's dead. But they're just like, oh, look at him. He's sleeping.
They're such
He's
good
dead asleep.
friends.
Yeah. They're such nice friends for watching him while he sleeps. He's dead asleep.
He's dead asleep.
Yeah. That one was fun. I think they should do a partnership with Trader Joe's because they have Trader Sam's. I think they should make it Trader Joe's. I was thinking about that when we went on the most recent time.
Honestly, I feel like that'd be good promo though.
Oh,
Because then you could carry Trader Joe's products in Disney
100%.
and people would eat that up.
If I could get some JoJo's in Disney, 100%.
Oh my goodness gravy.
And then I tried my first bow. We're backtracking, but I tried my first bow.
Bow.
Yeah, at the Tropical Hideaway.
Tropical Hideaway.
Which is really yummy. And when we first got there, I was so upset because I only was able to get one pineapple with chamoy and tahini in California Adventure. And so
Shout out
on
Nana.
Wednesday, shout out Nana. My Tapa said something, I don't know if you heard him, but he was like, when Nana's girl wants something, she's gonna fight to get it. And I was like, oh sure. And then no, my Nana literally hunted down. She went to a cast member. She was getting a water for Nana and Tata, and she was like, asked the cast member, hey, do you guys have pineapple with tahini and chamoy, like, here, or is it just in California Adventure? And he was like, oh, we might, but it might be, like, the only place I could think was it's at the Tropical Hideaway. So we were going there anyways, because we were going to try to ride, we were going to ride Jungle Cruise, I think, like, for the first time. So we went that way, and she walked in. They had just opened, and she walked in and basically asked, and she came out and goes, the lady said she'll do it for you right now, but it has to be right now if you want it. And I was like, yeah, I want it. So we walked in, and the lady gave me, they sell like gummy sharks with tahini and chamoy, so she just took the tahini and chamoy from that, and then we bought a pineapple, and then I made my own. It's delicious. I wish I would have got it again.
But now I know what to get her whenever she's like, I'm feeling sad.
That's my sad food. Give me a pineapple with tahini and chamoy. Or a mango. I like a mango nata. They just don't have that in Disneyland. I wish they did.
Speaking of which, yeah, we didn't have any alcohol while we were at DCA.
We didn't, and we were promised the 3 p.m. happy hour, and we did not get a 3 p.m. happy hour.
You know what? It's fine. You know.
I think it's because we got our 3 p.m. happy hour. Our 3 p.m. happy hour was coffee. We were treated to some caffeine, which was nice. We haven't even talked about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you give your thoughts and then I'll add on.
So Mickey's Runaway Railway was really cool because it had throwbacks to the original parts of Mickey, you know, in terms of, you know, the lore behind it. So the wizard hat, you know, the, you know, Happy Birthday Mickey cake from way back, like, what was it, the 30s, 40s?
Something like that.
You know, it was basically an homage to Mickey's, like, older past, you know. But then the actual ride itself was effectively in a railroad kind of deal, where from there we're basically following Mickey and Minnie out to the countryside, in which we then got derailed.
You forgot a very important part. It's supposed to be a movie theater.
Oh,
the
right.
whole thing is you walk into a movie theater, and it's like an homage to Mickey, like you said, and then you get pulled into a theater, and then you're watching the first half of it, where they're like, we're going to go on a picnic, and they sing their little, nothing can stop us now, I'll tell you how, you're going to make it happen. Sorry for copyright. Sorry, Disney, don't sue us. If you do, my name is Sierra, don't sue me. Yeah, the point being, you're watching a show, and then that's when, I don't remember what happened, something where it's like something hits the screen, and the whole idea is that the screen blows up and it rips a hole in it.
Effectively, Pluto was stuck in the trunk of the car,
yeah.
in which then, I guess something, I forgot what got stuck in Goofy's train, but then it blows up, and that didn't
It's like a hubcap or something. Something gets stuck in the train.
But it blows up the screen, essentially, in which then Goofy interacts with the cast member.
Which is so cute, because you can, I love it. I love the way he's like, hey, can you help? And they're like, me? Like, no, who else? And then that's when you break the fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth wall. and you go into Toontown, and you're going into the film, and that's when the ride starts, where you're on the train to go meet Mickey and Minnie, and then it gets derailed, and you go through a whole thing. You go through a little dance class at Daisy, you go under the sea, you go to a carnival, you go to a very, very noisy city. Yeah, it's a very roomy ride. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. But you get, hold on, really quick, finishing the ride. You get off the ride, and then it's like you're walking out of the film. So you're walking out of the same, quote unquote, the same rip screen that you walked into, which was super cool. And it was really funny, because the first time we went, we had a screaming baby on there. He wasn't a baby, he was like 2 or 3, but it definitely freaked him out.
Well, it was the fireworks that freaked him out, I thought.
It was the fireworks, and it was just so loud, and he didn't have headphones or anything. Like, even I was like, this is so loud.
I felt bad for the kid, but also it's on the parents for that.
Oh, 100%. His brother was fine. His brother was on his brother was right behind me, and I could hear him. He was vibing. And then we went on it a second time, and it was funny, because the second time we went on it, we were like, oh, like, how does that work? How does the screen pull up? How does the da-da-da? When we were waiting for the show, the pre-show to start, your girl figured it out really, really fast. Figured it out pretty quickly.
You're a smart cookie.
Yeah, I am. I'm also just, I have to figure things out. And even my tata said, he was like, if anyone's going to figure it out, it's going to be you. So for those wondering, the way it works is the screen pulls up. So it's already obviously ripped, but the screen pulls up when the smoke is rising, so it looks like the whole thing's moving up, and then as it's moving up, there's two black
curtains,
like curtains or something that pull out, and then it's supposed to look like this sort of like hole in the wall, literally. Hole in the screen, literally.
It was a really, really cool effect.
Oh yeah.
And I think that Disney did really well with the way that they did it.
And hiding it.
With hiding it too, because obviously you want to keep the magic. You want to keep the young kids like, oh my gosh, like what?
I mean, even we, the first time we saw it, we're like, what?
Yeah.
We didn't even realize it happened. And then the second time I was like, I'm determined to figure out how this happened.
Which was super cool. And that, to their credit, I was like, whoa, like that's super cool.
It was really nice.
You know, because namely, you know, as an adult, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like
that one was really cool, though. That ride was super awesome.
Absolutely.
The song did get stuck in our heads, and I think we sang that song so many times to each other.
Correct. And I've also seen it on TikTok way too often.
Oh, yeah. It was funny because Tata was like, this song's going to get stuck in your head. And I was like, oh, this song? And I sang it. And he's like, but you haven't been on the ride. I was like, it was all over TikTok.
Because we're talking about Toontown, do you want to talk about the time where they closed it for the parade and then we got in line to rush in?
So it wasn't the parade, it was fireworks. So they closed Toontown for fireworks every night because that's where the fireworks are happening. They happen in that area. So they closed it, and this was the last night we were there, and I was like, I really want to go to Toontown again. I think it'd be fun. Let's go. So they closed it till 10 o'clock. We started walking over there at like 9:30. We walked a lot quicker than I thought we would, and we got there pretty much before everyone else. But there was they had a little rope drop line. And so what they did, and it was super cool because I never knew they do this, but if you were waiting in that little cluster that we got to wait in, you got to go in first, and then they let everyone else come through. We were gonna go to Mickey and Minnie's, but we were like, everyone went there. So we were like, there's no way we're getting through that in a timely manner. So instead, we rode Roger Rabbit for the third time, which I love the Roger Rabbit queue, and we were being so funny in it. Because there's a part where it feels like you're in a back alley, and Hunter kept being like, what is it? You kept doing an old, the 1940s noir voice or something.
Noir detective, you know, of just, man, this town's gone to crap. Nothing in this town's right. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's black as this coffee. And
in true me fashion, I decided to up the bit. And every time he did that, I would be like, hey man, I'm just trying to get to work. I just want to get my sandwich from the deli, and I gotta go back at 30 minutes on my lunch. And we just kept doing it, and then we were like, what if it's a black and white film, and that guy's the only guy in color, and he's just like, hey, I just moved here. I'm an accountant from the firm down the street. I just gotta get through. Kind of blocking the way.
And then of course, the noir detective throws him up against the wall, being like, who do you work for as an accountant? Big Bag Tony?
No, I work at Johnson and Son.
You work for Johnson, eh? Okay.
I just want my sandwich from the deli. But we kept doing it in the line, and it was so genuinely funny. And it was the one thing, because that one's also hard because it's very tight corners. and there's nowhere to really, like, rest. You're standing the whole time, unlike other Disney queues. But that was, like, helping get through it, was just us being, like, doing this bit back and forth with each other. That was super duper fun. Let's talk. Anything else? Any other rides that stood out for... Oh, that scared me. Any other rides that stood out to you?
I'm trying to think. Was there any others that I was like...
We rode Pirates of the Caribbean, like, 10 times. We rode that one a lot.
To my point, I wanted to ride Pirates first because that used to be my favorite ride of all time. Still is. Unfortunately, Pirates is very small in terms of, like, legroom, so I was dying.
They also fit all 4 grown adults in one row, which was very hard.
Which annoyed the hell out of me, and I was honestly ready to just be like, I'll sit separately.
Yeah. When we got to sit by ourselves in the back, it wasn't too bad. It was like when all 4 of us were trying to sit together, it was pretty difficult. But we did ride that one a lot because, again, that was a low wait time one, so we were like, let's just ride. We're right here. It's 10 minutes. Let's just get on it really quick.
Which was super nice, and, you know, it's just like... Dang it. Like, I wish my knee wasn't screwed up.
Yeah, I get you.
The one ride that I was the most disappointed in for what it was Haunted Mansion.
I love that ride.
See, and I like Haunted Mansion, like the ride itself, but holy good God, that one kid just screaming
there was
his head off.
There was a child who was screaming and freaking out during the pre-show elevator part. I just don't think he was prepped on what was going on. Which is, again, parents' fault. I don't feel like it was his fault. I feel like it was the parents. And it was also the parents' fault for not, like... They kind of just left him. They didn't pick him up. They didn't comfort him. They just let him scream. Which I think was my other big issue. Was it was like they weren't trying to stop it. They were just letting him scream.
No, and then on top of him screaming, there were other kids that started getting upset because of it.
Oh, yeah. It was... I was about to start crying. He was screaming like bloody murder.
And so from there, I'm just like... I was super overstimulated, and I was just like, please get me out.
Loops, if you want to sponsor us, because we both used our loops pretty frequently on that trip.
Indeed.
Which is very nice.
Helped a metric ton. It just, holy crap.
It was really nice. Let's see, and then... What?
You want to talk about how we saw a possum?
Oh my gosh, we were walking back from the hotel. It was like a 10-15 minute walk to and from. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad walk. We were walking back one night, and I didn't see it. Let me tell mine, and then you tell yours. All I know is there goes, you literally went, holy shit, and kind of threw me a little bit. Not like threw me, but we were holding hands, and he kind of like jolted me one way, and so I didn't know what was going on, sprinted. I screamed and went, what's going on, and I ran. At least you know that if you need me to run, I'll run. Because my feet hurt, but I took off like a lightning bolt.
Oh my gosh. So, we're literally walking back to the hotel. We're probably like maybe
It's like 50, 5 minutes away.
Yeah, I was going to say like 50 yards.
It was not far.
It was not far. Like
we could have ran to the hotel.
We could have seen the hotel basically.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just talking with them. We're just chatting about whatever. I look over at the power box on the ground. Is this freaking possum that was as big as like a freaking dash hound.
It was apparently huge. I did not see the possum.
It was massive. It was as big as a cat. Like, it was ridiculous. And I was like, that's why I was like, oh my God. Because I didn't know if it had rabies. I didn't know if it was trying to protect its babies. So I just wanted to get you away from it. So that way it was to attack.
It just was funny that you kind of threw my arm and I just took off. There was no ifs, ands, buts, or about it. I ran and I said, okay, see you later. Every man for himself.
And from there, I was like, you know, obviously I was shaken up, but I was just like, okay, I'm good. Like, obviously fine.
I had no idea what happened. I just got told basically to run, and I ran. That happened. And then Friday, our last day rolled around. We took a slow morning. We got Starbucks for breakfast. We went to Downtown Disney. I spent so much money. We met up with my Nana and Tata for lunch.
We both spent it.
We spent so much money. We'll talk souvenirs after this, but yeah, we spent some money. We got some lunch. Got Relish sandwich. I saw a YouTuber I watch.
Which is cool.
Shout out Fresh Baked. I saw you eating lunch. I didn't want to say hi because I was a little nervy, but I did see you eating lunch. Your sandwich looked awesome. I didn't want to bother him, but I did get to see him. We saw a bunch of people filming. We saw the guy with the puppet. I don't remember his name, but we saw, funny. We'll be truthful. We got in a little argument because, again, this was our first real vacation with each other. We got in a little bit of an argument. And so we got ice cream. And we're sitting in silence by Thunder Mountain. Just the two of us, sitting in silence. And I happen to look up and over, and there's a man filming his puppet on his hand in front of Thunder Mountain. And we watched him do multiple takes. I didn't figure out his name.
It was pretty funny, too, how he did it, because he would just do the normal introduction with his hand puppet, and then if he didn't do it right, it was just, oh, dang it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, guys, how's it going?
And he would do it again, and I think he was doing facts about something, because the way he was filming, but it was so funny, because we both, like, again, we were arguing, and then we just went silent and just watched him, and then we came back, and it was like, he fixed our argument. We were like, yeah, we're good now. Let's go. Let's keep going.
And sometimes all you need is a distraction in that regard.
But it was so funny to watch. And then I saw another lady who, when we were walking to downtown Disney, she was filming, and the way her camera was, I could see myself. So if anyone finds me, there's a Disney video somewhere out there where I'm literally waving in the background as we walk past. But souvenirs, we got a crap ton of pins.
Yes.
We spent a lot of money on pins. I got a beanie with some cool embroidered cool embroidered characters on it. What else did I get? A Winnie the Pooh mug, Winnie the Pooh ears, Tiana when she's holding the frog, or holding the bean ornament. Anything else? Do you remember that I got?
I think you got me a hat with a little Mickey on it.
I got you a birthday present. I got you a hat for your birthday. Because you got me Winnie the Pooh ears for my birthday. We got each other birthday presents in the park.
Which is super cute.
It was very, very nice. We got birthday pins. Oh my gosh, birthday pins. We also got a bunch of other pins. We have traders for the next time we go, which will be super fun and exciting. Anything else?
I think that was it, other than, we packed up our stuff. We got another sketchy white van.
Different guy.
Different guy.
Different man.
Same company.
Yeah.
Drove us there. We checked in to our flight. There was a lot more people that time on the way back.
It wasn't too bad. We still got to sit in our own row.
Which was nice.
There was a very sweet baby who kept staring at you, who was not annoying on the flight. There was a different baby that was annoying, but that one who was staring at you was not annoying. She was I think she was very, very sweet.
She was, and that's why I was grateful that it wasn't the crying baby that was right next to us.
Yeah.
And so from there, we were able to watch our respective movies, got back.
We waited because it was crazy busy at the airport.
Shout out to your father for picking
Shout
us
out,
up
Dad!
And driving me back.
Because that was not the original plan.
No.
The original plan was we were going to get picked up separately. That did not happen. Yeah. That did not, we don't have to dive into it, but that did not happen.
Long story short, I waited outside my house for a little bit, and they drove back, and I appreciate you.
Not so it sounds like we just left you. My dad was very much like, no, we're staying. The only reason he left is because you told him, no, I'm okay.
And
if you didn't say that, he would have been like, no, get in the car, we'll go get food or something.
And I appreciate it a ton. It was just also one of those things I knew was going to be like 10 minutes, and I didn't want you guys to be home any later. So
we were chilling. My dad told me on the way home, he was like, yeah, I did a whole loop, because he had to drive down. He drove down one way to get to the airport, and then drove up a different way, and then we drove home a different way than we normally would have. But my dad's awesome. Shout out, Dad. He listens to every episode. He's our #1 fan. So, thanks, Dad. You're awesome.
Shout out to you. I can't say your last name.
Anything else we want to talk about from our little Disney trip? We didn't talk about my favorite one. We went to eat, and we were eating at Rancho del Zocalo, which is the Mexican food restaurant, and we were sitting there eating, minding our business, and there was a little girl. We were sitting right by a heat lamp, because it was pretty cold. So by a heat lamp, there's a little girl who was standing under the heat lamp, and her mom was like, come on, like, you have to come. And she goes, no, I want to eat here, like, it's warm here. And her mom was like, no, you have to come here. And then she just goes, no, you don't get it. I'm cold because it's chilly. That's what she said. I'm cold because it's chilly. And we looked at each other and we knew we're going to start saying that from now on.
It was iconic and it was hilarious. Also, shout out that restaurant. It was very good.
Rancho del Zocalo's is good.
It was very, very tasty.
We split a lot of stuff because I was not very hungry. And you were. So I just ate off of you.
I ate a lot during that trip, but I also burned a lot of calories because of how much we were walking.
So much.
My feet, my knees, my ankles hurt for like 3 days after the fact.
It was wild.
I was not prepared.
We can't really do what cute thing did Sammy do because we're watching, okay, when this podcast goes out on Yeah, when this podcast goes out, we will have watched Sammy, but we don't have anything right now. Cute thing Sammy did, I bet. Sammy does this cute thing where I tell him to do nothing, and he does. And I think it's really funny, because I'll look at him and go, do nothing, and he'll just stare at me. And I'm like, perfect. That's awesome. Or sometimes when I watch him and you're on the phone with me, I don't know if you noticed, but when we're on FaceTime, he'll walk up and sit right in front of the phone and stare at you. Yeah, he'll just, like, watch you from the phone. Which is funny, because he doesn't like you in person, but on the phone, he's fine with you. You're in your tiny box. He can't get, or you can't get him then. And then advice segment. Advice for traveling with a significant other.
Advice for traveling with your significant other. Definitely pack each other snacks that you prefer. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously have stuff for both of you, both of what you would like and eat, but also have stuff that's specific to you or your partner.
I think we did a good job with that.
Yeah. Obviously, give each other some grace, because it's a lot.
Especially if it's your first time traveling. Like that was our first real time traveling. We've gone places together. Like we've gone to California before together, but even doing that, we got downtime from each other. Or we were able to make that. Doing this, we weren't really able to make downtime from each other, so we were kind of stuck with each other for 5 days. I hate saying stuck with each other, but we were like stuck with each other for 5 days, but
yeah.
We had our fights, we had our arguments. But
And more than anything, I think it was just simply it was almost cabin fever. Without being in the cabin, of just, it happens, and so more than anything, having a little bit of grace with that will obviously go a long way for both you and your partner.
We were able to make things up over buying each other treats like coffee and ice cream and stuff. That was kind of a way to be like, hey, Olive Branch, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And it's different for everyone,
Yeah.
But for us, that worked especially well with just saying, hey, I got you some ice cream, or I got you a cream cheese pretzel.
Or if you're me, looking at you very angrily and going, I'm buying coffee, what do you want? That was my nice way of saying, I'll buy you something. But I was very angry in the moment and very hangry. That's what it was. I was very hangry at that moment. And so I was like, I'm buying coffee. What do you want?
And that's another thing, is that whenever you're on a trip, make sure your partner isn't hangry, because it will end badly.
Yeah, you'll get a crabby partner who really is not a joy to be around. And yeah, you didn't have to deal with that at all. Don't look at me like that.
Anyways, I think that's it for me and travel tips. Do you have anything else?
Oh, I added mine on to you. Anything else you want to say?
Shout out to everyone that helped facilitate the trip. We appreciate it a lot. For those that are listening that did not, definitely visit the new Disneyland in DCA. If you haven't recently, it is a ton of fun and updated a lot of things from years past.
Disney should hire you. That was solid. And with that, I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And I am John Cena.
And pasta la vista!